Well, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Laura Herbert, and today I'm with Dr. Suzanne Sutton. We're assistant professors in the College of Nursing, and our presentation today is titled COVID Compression, Implementing Rapid Change Process to Meet Students' Needs. So we're going to share with you our experience in one course for how we adjusted to the university campus closing and the impact increasing COVID numbers had on our undergraduate nursing program when we were asked to convert a traditional face-to-face class to a virtual and online teaching mode. All right, so just to give you some background for understanding our challenge, this impacted the College of Nursing baccalaureate program. The program is divided into lower division, which include freshmen and sophomores, and upper division, which includes juniors and seniors. So our experience affected the upper division undergraduate nursing students. So we admit 2 cohorts per year. There's a summer start cohort and a fall start cohort. And they take 5 courses during their first semester. And upper division is when their clinical experiences begin. So the South Carolina Board of Nursing requires a specific number of clinical hours for graduation. And although a limited number of simulation hours are allowed, most of these must be in-person hours in a clinical setting.
Now for a bit of personal background. Laura and I are clinical track faculty at the College of Nursing. This means that a higher percent of our workload is dedicated to teaching, with a smaller percent for scholarship and research and service and mentoring. Our passion is the education of future nurses. My master's in nursing is in nursing education administration, and my cognates for my PhD program were all related to nursing education. Now, I've been a nurse for about 30 years and an educator for 15 years. Laura's background is a little different.
Yes, so I'm an advanced practice registered nurse. So I'm a nurse practitioner, and I provide primary care to patients at the free medical clinic. So my master's is in nursing, and my doctorate is in nursing practice.
But we rely on each other's areas of expertise and experience, understanding that we don't need to be right about things as much as we need to focus on what's best for our students.
So co-teaching doesn't mean divide and conquer. It means collaboration and support. So what happened? Well, here is my Bitmoji, and we use Bitmojis frequently. The students like them, and it helps us to add a bit of fun and personality to an otherwise serious or boring posted announcement. So recall back in March and April, local area hospitals were preparing for, and in some cases experiencing, a higher influx of patients affected by COVID-19. So the College of Nursing was informed that our summer cohort did not begin clinicals until mid-June, but summer semester was set to begin on May 11th. So we were asked by the College of Nursing leadership to compress our pharmacology course from 13 weeks down to 5 weeks.
And this permitted us to continue undergraduate nursing course progression and allow students to stay on track for their graduation date while adjusting to the challenges of delayed clinical placement due to concerns related to COVID-19 and hospital staffing. The remaining 4 first semester courses were adapted for the subsequent 8-week session. So not only was the course to be compressed, but because the university campus was closed due to the pandemic, this forced faculty to transition the course to an online distant format.
And our reaction was, say what? But we quickly realized the benefits and why this made sense.
Now, we felt strongly about the benefit of compressing the course and our abilities, but we were under no illusion that whatever we planned would be sufficient to meet the ever-changing world related to COVID. We decided to use a rapid cycle problem-solving strategy: plan, do, study, and act, to address perceived limitations and student needs.
So the Institute for Health Improvement describes the DSA cycle as shorthand for testing a change by planning it, trying it, observing the results, and acting on what is learned. So let's describe our PDSA process.
Laura and I were notified of the proposed changes the first week of April, which sounds like a lot of time to plan for the May 11th start date. But remember, we were wrapping up the end of an incredibly stressful semester where clinical rotations were stopped with little notice, and many faculty at the College of Nursing were involved with the transition from face-to-face instruction to online teaching modes and virtual simulated clinicals for our students, as well as other end of the semester activities.
So once we thought about it, we thought, you know, this is so us. We can do this.
And Laura, who's taught pharm for several semesters, quickly developed a new 5-week course schedule overnight. It was like magic.
So pharmacology is perceived as being one of the most challenging courses. So we designed synchronous online lectures 2 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, to meet the required contact hours for a 3-credit-hour course. We introduced new content daily and scheduled exams for Mondays, giving students the long weekend to study and prepare. And this gave students the ability to focus solely on pharmacology without competing responsibilities of the other 4 courses that were normally taught.
Now remember, the main goals of transforming the first semester curriculum were to meet the obligatory delay in clinical placement while maintaining satisfaction and student success.
So before pharm even started, through the pre-class survey and virtual town halls hosted by Student Services and moderated by our administrative team, it became clear that students' and parents' concern was high regarding the schedule changes. Many students were concerned that the condensed format would make an already challenging course harder to pass. And many indicated a concern that they would not be engaging in deep learning, but would focus on passing the test rather than knowledge retention.
We met several times with our administrative team, who are fabulous and provided great support, to determine how we could best meet the learning needs of our students while providing emotional and psychological support. From the beginning, Laura and I made it a priority to increase our availability to students, to check in with them at the beginning of every class, and to use positive communication.
So as co-faculty, we adopted a truly united approach. We met daily, sometimes multiple times a day, usually before class, and we attended every class session even if we weren't given the lecture for that day. We felt it was important that students see us as a team, supporting each other, and to show that we were concerned for each other as we were concerned for them. We were intentional about managing up, meaning when discussing changes and challenges we were facing, we were positive and supportive, but offered transparency for some of the hurdles of compressing the course.
We became much more accommodating related to assignment, due dates, and attendance, which for both of us was very difficult to let go of, those hard stop due dates and the attendance policies. Another major change we made, we recorded each synchronous class session and posted for later review. And we also tried to wrap up each class with NCLEX style questions to help with knowledge retention.
And finally, we provided multiple opportunities for office hours. Virtual drop-in office hours were offered 3 times a week. Students could join our virtual office anytime during the scheduled time, and we used a roundtable discussion approach. So students could come and ask questions and be quite participative, or they could join and just listen to the discussions.
While most of these sessions did focus on pharm concepts, we also discussed learning and testing strategies, COVID-related concerns, coping mechanisms, and challenges of daily life. Drop-in office hours provided a sense of community and support for those attending, as well as a forum for asking questions.
And students were also provided the opportunity to meet with faculty one-on-one. In fact, there were some instances where we would reach out to the student asking for a one-on-one to provide support, and we did this if we noticed the student struggling with an assignment or not feeling engaged in class sessions.
So we developed a 3-question red cap survey to assess the efficacy of content presentations and identify opportunities for improvement. we requested that students complete these surveys after each class sessions, and then we reviewed them together. Survey questions asked students to list one or two concepts they understood well from that day's session, what concept they didn't understand well, and something that they would like to explore more. Based on student responses and to provide additional support to students, several processes from the way the former class was structured were changed during the implementation of the compressed course.
We also gathered information from students using daily check-ins at the beginning of class and during office hours. And here are some examples of student feedback and the changes we made. So either we identified or students reported poor recall of foundational concepts. So we posted videos or other resources to help them understand. In fact, that's what we titled it, Help to Understand Protein Binding, or Help to Understand the RAS.
Some feedback said that they didn't really understand fully the content presented in class. So we posted short video lectures reviewing specific content, or we addressed this at the beginning of the next class.
They also said social distancing was preventing group study. Now, the College of Nursing provides study rooms, but they were home now and unable to get together. So we made them aware of Blackboard Collaborate rooms where they could have a study session. And we planned exam wrap-up sessions on Friday mornings where we would use example questions and talk through why correct answers were correct and why wrong answers were wrong. We also discussed strategies for answering questions.
Students reported difficulty developing effective learning strategies. So we posted information from the learningscientists.com and offered one-on-one sessions for reviewing their individual study techniques and habits, and where we could suggest changes.
And finally, they were having difficulty thinking like a nurse because this was a new way of thinking for them. So first, we reassured them that it would get easier. But to help them, we included more patient examples and case studies during lecture.
And usually we would discuss the most problematic concepts at the beginning of the next class, along with short review of the previous day's concepts to activate knowledge and get students back into the learning mentality.
So the compressed pharmacology course had a high success rate, with 97% of students passing with a grade of C or better, which was an improvement over the traditional format. A student survey revealed that 70% of students, if given the opportunity again, would take the solo 5-week pharmacology class first, followed by the other 4 8-week courses. Student comments on ending evaluations were mixed related to the amount of content, but indicated that the overall presentation and teaching were successful. Many students commented that although they had to comprehend a lot of information in a short time frame, they appreciated the time to focus solely on pharmacology without having competing courses.
Many students indicated that the responsiveness, availability, and support of faculty were key to the 5-week course's success. And some students even commented on the obvious teamwork and support faculty demonstrated towards each other.
So as academia continues to pivot and turn in response to the COVID crisis, it's important to not only consider the effect of pedagogical changes, but how the faculty implements them and the impact this may have on student learning to ensure student success and satisfaction.
And now we're coming to my favorite part. I love Socrative quizzes. I think that they're an awesome way to really take a look at how the students are learning and to evaluate our teaching as well. So I want to make sure that everybody can see the Socrative and that you're logged into the October Best room, because you answer the questions on your own device and then we discuss them here. All right, so 5 out of 6 students have answered. So let's see how we did on the question, what year was the University of South Carolina founded? Look, 100% of us got this right. We know that the university was founded in 1801. And you can actually add pictures to demonstrate your responses, or in other places, which you'll see in a few minutes. So let's take a look at another question. And in this one, when you have pictures like this in the answers, if you want to zoom, it's very easy. You just zoom like that, and then you can exit out. This is really good for classes like anatomy and physiology, or geography, or even history. Math questions are good here. And let's see how we did. Ooh, somebody chose garnet, black, and white. That's a 20%. So we would then discuss, we would be able to discuss why that's not right. And in a safe environment like we had over the summer, you can ask students to say, tell me about how you chose that response. And we get an understanding of how they're thinking as well.
But students can also sign on to this anonymously.
Yes, you don't have to put your name on.
Yeah, it's a way for them to answer questions and not have to call themselves out.
Right. And you can set it up so that they can do this on their own time. In fact, when we would do the wrap-up sessions before exams, we would finish the wrap-up session, close the Socrative, and then reopen it as a student-paced Socrative so they could continue to practice over the weekend before the test.
And it helps because you can randomize the order of the questions and the order of the answers. So it just makes it a little bit more challenging for the student.
Right. All right, let's see how we did. Ooh, this one was a hard one. And I wanted to show you, this is what our explanation looks like, so we can actually see that as well. As students who aren't engaging with the Socrative using their own device, we can pop up the explanation here so they can see it as well. All right, just 2 more questions. We have select all that apply questions. We call them Satan's questions because they're really hard. And you can do those kinds of questions here too. You can also do fill in the blank questions. There's multiple types of questions. You can do true, false. You can do all kinds of questions. All right, so let's see how we did here. Yay, 100%. That's fabulous.
That is great.
All right, but here's our last question, and this is a silly question. And again, you can zoom up something like that so you can really get a good view of it, and then zoom it back out for students to answer the questions. All right, so let's see how we did. Ah, somebody, that's great. So 80% will say yes, they've done a horseshoe, correct? And then somebody wants to know where's the horseshoe. That's great. So when you finish it, you click finish over here. You can say, yes, I want to end, and then you can see the results here and see how people did, and see how people did overall, okay, but also see which questions were problematic to see what kind of concepts were they missing.